How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another video. So today we are really going to need to start getting ready for the first Elder God Wars boss, as it's going to be coming out within the next few weeks. We have an absolute ton of stuff that we need to do to prepare, and really not a lot of time to do it. So today I basically want to make sure that when the update does come, I can just jump straight into it. So we're going to be doing a little bit of questing, we're going to be trying to upgrade our gear as much as possible, and we're going to be making some pretty big investments in this episode too. So if this is the kind of content that you do enjoy, then please do leave the video a like. Do leave a comment down below giving any tips or any thoughts on the video. And if you are new, then please do consider subscribing, as it will help out the channel an absolute ton. And with that intro out of the way, let's get into the video. Alright, well, we're going to start off with the quests, as they are going to be 100% needed to even access the Elder God Wars. I'm not going to really go into too much detail on what actually happens during the quests, as, you know, somebody might be watching this that doesn't want spoilers or wants to kind of experience it for themselves. But I'll just give my kind of overall thoughts on what I thought of each quest. So the first quest we needed to do was as an Andra's quest. And honestly, I actually really enjoyed this quest. It's a really well written quest that really builds up to what events are coming. It's one of those quests that really got my mind going with trying to work out what was going to happen next. And it just kind of gave me this nostalgic feeling of being back in the day in school, talking with friends about potentially what was going to happen in quest lines. You know, we'd kind of talk for weeks and weeks on just like what we thought was going to happen in the next quest, or like what the next quest was going to sort of involve or whatever. And this quest kind of made me feel the same. You know, I would really want to kind of know what is next, just because the build-up is so good. So overall, as an Andra's quest for me was great, honestly. It made me pretty excited for what's to come. Now, moving on to the next quest was the Battle of the Monolith. This was actually a mini quest that it was split into 3 or 4 weeks. I can't remember actually how long the event went on for. But essentially every week for the event was a bit more of a build-up towards what's going to be happening. My guess is that they were trying to go for sort of a build-up with a bit more suspense each week. And don't get me wrong, again, the writing was pretty good and, you know, made me want to know more about what was going to happen. But the actual mini-quest itself was, I don't know, it fell flat for me. It was just essentially a tower defense mini-game. And once the NPCs were sort of in place, there was little to no input from me, myself. Which honestly wasn't too bad for the first couple of events, but the third or final one, or whatever which one it was super long, just stood around waiting for it to end. Obviously it was a mini quest, so, you know, it wasn't supposed to be super long. But I think just kind of standing around once all the NPCs are in place just made it, I don't know, very boring for me. But again, you know, the story was pretty good and it made me want to know what was going to happen next. Alright, so we finally move on to the final quest before the Elder God Wars. So I actually really enjoyed this quest, and the whole area and the quest itself was actually really enjoyable. But honestly, after watching the trailer, I kind of expected to explore the place a little bit more. But I did actually really like the mechanics of how that area worked, and the city itself actually looks super cool. But I'm not gonna lie, this quest made me really excited for the Elder God Wars. I honestly really don't know what is going to happen next, and that makes it super exciting for me. Without going into any spoilers or anything, I definitely don't think we are done with certain NPCs. Alright, let's get into some PVM. We're going to need to make some money so that we can get some upgrades ready for when that boss does drop. So let's head back to AOD. So we usually end up hosting a clan Master AOD once a week. The event's usually pretty open to anyone, so it means that quite a lot of new people came along this time. Which honestly isn't a terrible thing, you know, it's nice to do stuff with a clan, but I would really like to get a team together that's a bit smaller, maybe 10 man or something, because I actually would like to learn the mechanics as a sort of more challenging fight rather than just having loads of people there to sort of brute force the whole thing. We did actually have quite a lot of people die this time around. It was usually just a couple of mistakes made by some of the newer players, like for instance putting the bomb in the middle, but you know, we had a lot of learners and it's kind of to be expected. Now, I haven't got a clue what was happening in this clip. I was absolutely spam clicking towards the pillar, and my character just would not get off next, at all. And because I was clicking so much, I just assumed that when I surged, I would head towards the direction that I'd been clicking. But, you know, apparently the game had a different idea and just surged straight to next. I mean, it didn't really matter at the end of the day, but it was just a little bit weird. But yeah, I was getting drops probably about 50% of the kills, which, as far as I'm aware, means that I was getting in the top 10 DPS. I don't know if that's correct or not, but that's just what I heard. So I definitely feel like I'm getting a little bit better, but you know, there's so much room for improvement. Alright, let's head back to Beastmaster, as this is another event that we've started doing once a week. And once again this week I only managed to get one loot because I didn't realise that there's a chat option to reset the loot thing automatically. But you know, it is what it is, I don't really mind at the end of the day. But yeah, once again, we were in voice chat for the kills, and honestly it's pretty needed because I really still don't know what I'm doing during the fight. I literally just do stuff as I'm told to do it. So I mean, realistically I should probably go away and actually learn the fight on a guide or something, just so that I can do it off the top of my head. And I should maybe look at how to actually do a roll during the fight as well, just so that we can bring a lot more people along as DPS. Because I do know a lot of people in the clan are wanting to come along to it, but they can only come as DPS or only want to come as DPS. It would just give a lot more people a chance to sort of come along and actually do the fights. But yeah, I really don't think there's too much more to say about Beastmaster. I think my loot was about 1.7 mil, and none of us actually got any broadcasts. So honestly, both AOD and Beastmaster this week have been pretty bad for drops, and we really need to get some money so that we can buy some upgrades. Alright, so before we get into the next boss, we're going to be spending some money, and I don't know if I'm happy about it. So seeing as the price just is not coming down, I decided to finally buy a greater ricochet. I've spent 1.37 billion GP on an ability, and I really hope it's worth it, because I don't like buying things that I can't resell, and this is the biggest purchase I think I've ever made in the game. Once it was in my inventory, I was super hesitant to even use the item. It was so bad. I was messaging people just like, I don't want to do this, and literally all of them were saying it's absolutely worth it, so just do it. I also spent a little bit of money on getting some perks for my range gear, as basically the armor I've been using has had absolutely 0 perks on them. So my top now has Relentless 5, Crackling 4. I've left the second slot open because I want to get Biting Mobile in there, but I just don't have the Noxious components to even attempt that one yet, so. And on the legs I have Devoted 4 and Impatient 4. I didn't manage to get them both in one gizmo, but I'll go for that at some point. I just thought I might as well put them both in separately for now. But yeah, sort of between some extra perks and having greater ricochet, I'm hoping I do a lot more DPS now. And there's only one place to try it out, right? Now, I know I said I wasn't going to do next every episode, but with these upgrades I just had to try it out. And honestly, I am absolutely blown away by just how good the perks and having greater ricochet are. Compared to the last episode when I didn't have these, oh man, this fight is completely different now. It feels way easier. Now don't get me wrong, I'm still using far more supplies than I want to be, but I'm definitely not using as many as I was. And the kill time difference is absolutely just insane. I think last episode I was pretty much getting 4.5 to 5 minute solo kills, and with these upgrades I'm getting pretty much consistent 3 minute 30 kills, occasionally the 4 minute, so I have knocked a good like 1 minute off my solo kill time. And honestly there's still an absolute ton of stuff that I could be doing to improve that as well. I have an absolute ton of vulnerability bombs in the bank that I just have not used yet. I think if I brought those along, then that alone would probably get me a sub 3 minute kill. I think as well if I was able to find proper keybinds and get a proper switch going, because at the moment I'm just camping my Chroming 4 offhand. But yeah, we finally managed to get a broadcast from Nex. It was really only just a Virtus book, so it was only about 6.3 mil, but you know, money's money, and I need to get some of that greater ricochet money back. I'm not sure what the next upgrade should be. I'm going to assume the tier 99 prayer, but please let me know down below if that isn't the case, because I need to know what to buy next. So just one more little clip of Nex before we end the video. A few of us in the clan went for an achievement at Nex where you just don't use prayers. Nobody in the group is allowed to use prayers. And yeah, it was an interesting fight. It felt super slow considering there was about 4 or 5 of us. But yeah, it was just a little bit of fun, and we all didn't really even know that was an achievement, so yeah, it was, I don't know, funny to go do. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today's video. We've got all the big requirements out of the way for when the God Wars boss does actually release. We are slowly, very slowly getting better at PBM, and we have made some huge investments that are going to help us in the future. But if you guys do have any tips, chuck them down below for me. If you enjoyed it and you are new, then please do subscribe, and as usual, like it if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, and I'll catch you in the next one.